the ultimate trickster. We've gone through history. Like I said, we could go hours and hours and hours talking about all these things. We're just taking a brief tour, believe it or not, through history, and showing you that, starting in modern day times, going all the way back, showing these trickster figures, the animals, the deities, the gods, the spirits. We talked about the jesters, the harlequins, the clowns, the sacred clowns, all these trickster figures. And we see that is with us today. It's such an obvious example is the Joker. And of course, this has been written about. Many people admit it, but there's actually even more behind this than you could possibly imagine. And it's pretty wild, what I'm going to show you. So let's get into it. Joker, the ultimate trickster. In his comic book appearances, the Joker is portrayed as a criminal mastermind. Introduced as a psychopath with a warped, sadistic sense of humor, the character became a goofy prankster in the late 1950s in response to regulation by the Comics Code Authority before returning to his darker roots during the early 1970s. The 1990s introduced a romantic interest for the Joker in his former psychiatrist, Harley Quinn, who became his criminal sidekick and girlfriend before finally escaping their abusive relationship. What does that sound like? Clear reference to Harlequin, what we talked about. Since the Bronze Age of comics, the Joker has been interpreted as an archetypal trickster. Okay? It's clear as day he's a trickster character, displaying talents for cunning intelligence, social engineering, pranks, theatricality, and idiomatic humor. Like the trickster, the Joker alternates between malicious violence and clever, harmless whimsy. Also, one of Joker's names is Jester of Genocide. Now, I'm going to play a clip here, another clip from my show of Mark Hamill, who has played the voice of the trickster, actually. So I'm going to get that clip set up. All right, let's play this clip.
Listen, if you've played the trickster and the Joker, as I have for so many years, the upside is nobody takes anything you say seriously. And that's a good thing because it's liberating, you're a jester, you're there for fun. And that's what I
He said, by the way, he's played the voice of the Joker on the Batman cartoon. I didn't know that was started all the way back in the 90s. I don't know if you guys knew that. He said, I played the role of the Joker, the trickster, the jester. What's great about that is no one takes anything you say seriously. What is he talking about? He's telling you right there, what did Joseph Campbell say? The character of the trickster. It says in the Fool tarot card, what does it say? It says it's the jester. Okay? And the Fool, the jester, the Joker, the trickster, it's all the same thing.
That's that clip. Again, from 5 years ago. But so we see Mark Hamill. He said he played the role of the trickster his entire career. He did the voice of the Joker a lot. So it's just interesting there with him doing the voice of the Joker. He admits trickster as well. And he actually literally also played the role of a comic book character called the Trickster many times, both in live action and as a voiceover in cartoon format. And then, if you look up the wiki file on the Fool Tarot card, you can see it describes exactly what that's about, ties in with that again. Again, that is another overlap with this, which we're not even going to go into detail about. But there is a tarot card called the Fool, and it's the embodiment of this, of the trickster. And I have a quote about that, actually. I'm going to read right now by Ken Kesey. And he talks about the Fool Tarot card and the Joker, tying that together. Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters. Now, if you don't know who he was, he wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He wrote the book, and then he made a movie about it with Jack Nicholson in it, which is interesting because he also played the Joker. Think about that. But he was involved with this group, the Merry Pranksters, and they actually went around the country dosing people with LSD. And they're associated with the Grateful Dead and some other mind control projects. But we're not even going to talk about that today because there's all kinds of crazy stuff. But we're going to look at his quote here about the Joker and the Fool tarot card. So it's from this ParisReview.org interviewer. What connection is there between Ken Kesey, the magician prankster, and Ken Kesey, the writer? Kesey. The common denominator is the Joker. That's what he says. The Joker. It's the symbol of the prankster. Tarot scholars say that if it weren't for the Fool, the rest of the cards would not exist. The rest of the cards exist for the benefit of the Fool. That's pretty crazy statement to make. The Fool, by the way, shows a knowledge of the occult. The Fool in tarot is this naive, innocent spirit with the rucksack over his shoulder, like Kerouac, his eyes up into the sky, like Yeats, William Butler Yeats, and his dog biting his rump as he steps over the cliff. We found one once at a big military march in Santa Cruz. Thousands of soldiers marching by. All it took was one fool on the street corner pointing and laughing, and the soldiers began to be uncomfortable, self-conscious. That fool of Shakespeare's, the actor Robert Armin, became so popular that finally Shakespeare wrote him out of Henry IV. So, just think about this, what he's saying here. First of all, he shows you the connection between the Joker and the Fool tarot card, and the Trickster, right? But he says something interesting. He gives an example of a military march of soldiers and one person mocking them for them to become uncomfortable and self-conscious. And what he is showing, again, is the power of humor, of mockery, and that it is subverting order, sobriety, right? Think about what the military soldiers marching, think about what that represents. Order, hierarchy, all this stuff. All it takes is one trickster to mock, to undermine that. Now, it might not happen every time, but it did in that case. And he was signaling something to you that he actually has a much deeper knowledge of what they do to overthrow things in society and invert the natural order, and what they have been doing for so long. He was giving you a little hint. But anyways, that ties those together, and also the Fool tarot card and the Joker. Okay, the Joker. Batman movies with the Joker. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the Batman movie, The Dark Knight. Okay, so The Dark Knight featured a mentally disturbed and dark Joker played by Heath Ledger. And I'm going to give you one quote from that Heath Ledger's Joker says in the Batman movie. Check out what he says. This is the Joker talking. It's the schemers who put you where you are. You were a schemer. You had plans. Look where it got you. I just did what I do best. I took your plan and I turned it on itself. Look what I've done to this city with a few drums of gas and a couple bullets. Nobody panics when the expected people get killed. Nobody panics when things go according to plan, even if the plan is horrifying. If I tell the press that tomorrow a gangbanger will get shot or a truckload of soldiers will be blown up, nobody panics, because it's all part of the plan. But when I say that one little old mayor will die, everybody loses their minds. Introduce a little anarchy, you upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. Now, what I want you to see here, please, do not be naive. Please do not bury your head in the sand. Don't look away. Don't take the blue pill and go back to sleep. I want you to face this and look. I want you to think about all the history and the information that we've talked about all the way up until now. For them to put this trickster character in this movie, and to have him say this line, and you think this doesn't have an impact on society, you're out of your mind. You are delusional. This is so intentional, and there is so much behind this. I'm showing you the depth behind this. And they basically just say it right in your face. But because people are so brainwashed and ignorant, they don't even understand what it means. Because you barely learn anything in school. You don't learn about barely anything in churches. So it's easy to take advantage of people. Control them, brainwash them, take advantage of them. What's the Bible say about the devil? Lest Satan get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Well, certainly a lot of people are ignorant of his devices. Okay, so he says, introduce a little anarchy, you upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. That's what the trickster does. He's an agent of chaos. Let's continue. Jack Nicholson warned Heath Ledger about playing the Joker. This is a documented fact, not a conspiracy theory. Fact. Even there's video footage of Jack Nicholson saying this. I've seen the video. I remember years ago. So the 70-year-old Oscar winner was dining at the Wolseley restaurant in London when a photographer told him about Ledger's death. Okay? After this movie, Heath Ledger died. Okay? And when they told Jack Nicholson about Ledger's death, this is what happened. After saying that's awful, Jack added, I warned him, and refused to elaborate. And he literally says, I warned him, and walks away. Warned him about what? Warned him about playing the Joker. About what it would do to his mind. And did you know that people in the media try to write, in entertainment media, journalists, they try to whitewash this now, and they try to spin it and say, oh, no, he was perfectly happy during that time. They try to pretend like it didn't affect him. Okay, they really don't want you to know. But Jack Nicholson said, well, I told him. I warned him. Now we're going to fast forward to the Joker movie. Okay, so there's a bunch of Batman movies, right? So there was the one in the 80s. There was the Batman movie with Jack Nicholson playing the Joker. He was kind of more goofy. But there was some hints in there as to what the trickster's role is. For instance, they go into the art museum and they're throwing paint and stuff over priceless works of art. Sound familiar? Ruining art. What does that represent? The old order. The beauty, they turn grotesque. The old order, they overturn, destroy it. That's the trickster. And even though it looks kind of goofy and funny, they play funny music and they're dancing around, there's a much deeper message going right under your nose, right in your face. Then we see the depiction of the Joker in The Dark Knight. That was a little bit darker. But he says this type of stuff. Then we have in 2019 an actual Joker movie where the main character is the Joker. And let's talk about that. And by the way, this was a huge movie in society, in the culture, in case you didn't know. A ton of people, even people that hadn't watched movies in a long time, said they went to go see it. Joaquin Phoenix was chosen to play the Joker. That's the actor that was chosen. What's interesting about that? Well, a little bit of background. Joaquin Phoenix was born with the last name Bottom. The family was part of the Children of God cult, which did that. You ever heard about them? They sent the women out and they did flirty fishing. Very, very strange stuff. And traveled to South America as missionaries for the Children of God cult. After leaving the cult, the family changed their last name to Phoenix. Okay? So it wasn't born with the last name Phoenix. the family decided to change the name to Phoenix after the bird, which, by the way, you go back and watch my video called Kanye and the Phoenix Death Ritual. I do a big section talking about the occult symbolism of the phoenix, which Manly P. Hall explains in detail in his book, Secret Teachings of All Ages. It's an occult symbol used a lot in entertainment. But anyways, his family takes on the name Phoenix, so they used a man whose family took on the name Phoenix to play the Joker. Watch my teaching on Phoenix Death Ritual for more of that, like Kanye and the Phoenix Death Ritual, okay? Check that out. Kind of a strange overlap, right? So let's continue. Joaquin Phoenix did performance art and trolled the world for 2 years to promote a film. Again, now we have performance art, we have trolling. Joaquin Phoenix has played the role as a trickster figure before he ever did the Joker role. Here's a little bit about that from an article about what he did. No one seemed particularly surprised when Casey Affleck, director of I'm Still Here, admitted that his brother-in-law's documented descent into drug abuse, possible mental illness, and physical deterioration as he sought to kickstart his rap career was all for show. An experiment in blurring the lines between fiction and reality that Affleck described as the performance of Phoenix's career. Phoenix, in playing an unpleasant version of himself, was able at the very least to challenge people to react, even if they weren't entirely sure why they were letting him get under their skin. He was, in essence, trolling the world. We have the link to the article here. Okay? Phoenix, Joaquin Phoenix trolled the world for 2 years. And what'd they say? He's crazy. He's mentally ill. Oh, look, he's trying to rap. This is cringe. What is he doing? No one understands it. Now, I want you to see the significance of this because this sounds just like Kanye. And they talk trash about him. Oh, he's crazy. He's cringe. And you can even read posts that people made on discussion boards way over 10 years ago. And they were saying, oh, I just want this guy to go away. Next thing you know, 10 years later, he does the Joker and everyone's singing his praises. Oh, he's so great. I love him. He's the best actor ever. And everybody changed their tune. So the masses are wrong, once again, as they usually are. Okay? But their initial reaction is, oh, he's mentally ill, he's cringe and all this stuff. But then they're singing his praises and they love him a little bit after that. Okay? So for those of you who think that you know where everything's going and you think you can predict, you don't know squat. You're listening to everyone else. That's the worst thing to do. The worst thing to do. The crowd knows nothing. Okay? So check this out. That's what Joaquin Phoenix, he did that performance art. He was trolling. He was being a trickster in real life. Now, back to the movie. One thing I'm going to focus on in the movie. So in the movie, he's like, it's basically the origin story of the Joker, right? And they have it be this guy where he is a loner. He's a weirdo. He's a very low status person in society. Has sort of seen as like being mentally ill. Can't control his laughter. Things like that. And then things happen throughout his life that keeps pushing him and pushing him over the edge. Eventually, he turns into this Joker character, puts on makeup, but he does a stand-up comedy routine. Nobody laughs. It's kind of cringe. It's on television. But the talk show host sees it, wants to bring him on, basically to bring him on TV to mock him. And so Joaquin's character comes on the late night show and he puts on Joker makeup. And this is basically the beginning of him being embracing this Joker character. In the Joker movie, he's on the show, the Joker shoots a TV host played by Robert De Niro in the head on live TV. And then right after that, riots break out in the streets because this was broadcast on live television. Everybody sees a talk show host. They see him get shot in the head on live TV. And so the Joker's action triggers chaos, anarchy. Okay? Remember, his role as the trickster. Now, let me tell you what this symbolism is. Because there is symbolism here. Robert De Niro represents the old order. How is that? Well, Robert De Niro has played... What you have to do is you have to examine different characters that people have played throughout their career. A lot of times he's played a mafia guy, but actually he's played a CIA character as well. In the Fockers, you say, oh, it's a comedy and stuff like that, but he was a CIA guy. And actually, a lot of times the mafia has worked with the CIA in history, multiple times. In fact, they tried to get the CIA use the mafia for assassinations. But anyways, not going to go down that rabbit hole. But it's kind of tied together with that old order, the old world order, right? He's a good representation of that. You could even say old Hollywood too, right? Represents that old golden era of movies that everybody loves. And then it's shot in the head on live TV. And what's interesting about that is a lot of people say that entertainment is dead today. Because it's been infected with woke culture and all this stuff. It's ruined all the movies. So it's dead. Well, guess what? He represents that old golden era of entertainment. And it's shot in the head right in your face. And they're saying, yeah, it's dead. We killed it. Joaquin is the trickster agent of chaos who kills De Niro as a catalyst to open up the floodgates of destruction, paving the way for the new order. Okay? Clearly the Joker is a trickster, agent of chaos, as the Joker has said before. Killing De Niro, killing the old order. He overthrows and destroys the old order, opening up the floodgates of destruction, triggering riots, all this destruction. And that is what paves the way for the new order, because you can't have the new order without the destruction of the old. And so the trickster is triggering that destruction and that chaos that they need. And you want to know what's interesting about that? Anarchy explodes in the streets after, right? Right after that happens. Anarchy explodes in the streets, riots, and all these types of things. The rioters look to the Joker as an inspirational figure as their leader. They look up to him. He's the one that paved the way. Well, who is he? He's the trickster. He's the Joker. He's the jester. He's the sacred clown. He's helping to bring us from the old order to the new order. But it's through chaos and it's through destruction. The only way through to the new order is through chaos and destruction. And the trickster paves the way. He punches through the wall, breaks down the boundaries and the barriers. And he says, I'm the one to kick the door in. Here we go. Boom. And then everybody follows suit. But it has to be the trickster figure that leaps out first and leads the way. Now, you want to know what else is interesting? The Joker movie came out in October of 2019. Riots erupted across America summer 2020. Did they not? Did they not? The Joker movie came out in October of 2019. Shows a character shooting someone in the head, and riots break out in the street, and then riots break out in the streets of America in 2020. The spirit of the trickster is alive and well in the world today. and works through the arts, music, movies, influencing culture. You know what Kanye said in a meeting with Odysee? I'm the king of culture. You might mock him. Oh, you might laugh. You might underestimate, but that would be your mistake. In fact, one of the best advantages of being the fool is people underestimate you. And then you can do whatever you want. Isn't that what Mark Hamill said? He said it's liberating. You can say whatever you want. People won't take it seriously. Even when it is something serious. You fly under the radar. So who's the real fool then in the end? Also, Alex Jones has played this trickster role. He even dressed as the Joker multiple times on his show. I got a picture right here. Multiple times, Alex Jones puts on makeup, dresses himself up like the Joker on a show. Is he not a trickster figure? Who's going against the order? You might say, oh, but he's against all the corruption and all the evil of the New World Order and all the other type of stuff. Is he? Great. Did you know right now he has someone on his website promoting occult practices as a solution to the New World Order? Telling us that we need to practice white magic and things about natural law and creating our own realities by using occult powers for good and using the secrets of the elite. Promoting that on his site. Alex Jones said on Michael Malice's show that Kanye told him he is like the Joker and they want to burn the system down. Kanye actually said this to Alex Jones. Alex Jones admits it on camera. I'll play the video clip. You can hear it yourself. All right, so I'm going to play the clip right now and listen to what Alex Jones says.
And so I really think this was all an exercise in trolling. In fact, Fuentes has now come out and said he and Kanye are the Joker, and they're burning down the whole system, and that's what they intend to do. But
hear that? Did you hear that? Alex Jones says Nick Fuentes told him and Kanye are like the Joker and they're burning the system down. See, I'm not making up theories here, guys. This is out of their own mouth. Out of their own mouth. We're like the Joker burning the system down. I mean, it's just right in your face. Even Michael Malice himself, he was just on that show too. He's a trickster figure himself. He's the most popular anarchist in the world. He is an anarchist that loves trolling, wants to see the system burn, everything, all the system destroyed. And what's interesting is he likes to post pictures of himself as the Joker. I got a picture right here. He had, I think it was like a family member paint his face like the Joker, but he posted online on Twitter in response to people. He thinks it's funny, but he's portraying himself as the Joker, this trickster character again. And it just keeps popping up over and over again. Now, what's the conclusion of all this? Where are we headed? A new order. What will they use to get us there? Chaos. How will they bring in the chaos? Tricksters, among other things. They'll use a lot of different things, but tricksters are a big part.